You've already read the title. How many Mario Kart World courses can you beat backwards? You'd think it would be all of them because this is an open world game, but the answer is actually surprising. Before we start though, I'm going to mark off the tracks that are a bit too simple and don't have anything interesting to say about them. Now, with that out of the way, please subscribe. Right at the end of Shy Guy Bazaar, there is a big glider section, which isn't good news for us. We turn around and get blocked by a wall. Luckily, we can use a very useful tool in our arsenal, the charge trick. We can jump over this wall and boost with a mushroom, but to no avail. Lakitu places us in the sky. In Airship Fortress, we can turn around and climb up this tower rather than go down it, but again, this course has a big glider part right at the end. Bowser's Castle is a big gap we need to overcome, which I thought there was no chance it would let us up, but Lakitu was feeling generous today. We drive up and around this bend and try to do the same thing, but we then get placed in the air. On Wario Stadium, we can turn around and drive a bit until we get to the massive jump at the end. For some reason, this jump has boost pads on the reverse side, which allows us to jump over and beat the course. On DK Spaceport, yeah, this wasn't happening. Originally, I thought Crown City would be possible because this course is pretty flat and not too complicated, but it's a section track, meaning each lap is different. So we start in this bridge, and if we try to turn around, Lakitu will correct us. Choco Mountain was one of the more simpler courses, except from a few things. Right at the end of the course, there are big jumps which seem impossible to scale, but if we keep going out of bounds, Lakitu will pick us up in places where we need to be every time. Then when we get to the end, there's this big chocolatey gap. I had to sink in the chocolate so Lakitu would pick me up and place me where I need to be. From there, it was smooth sailing to the goal. Toad's Factory was honestly quite interesting. When we start, there's this big wall blocking our path. There's a little lip where we can drive under and get picked up by Lakitu, who will put us on top of the lip. We drive a bit further through this water section until there's another path we need to get on top of. I tried a couple times to get Lakitu to put me on top, and it wasn't working until for some reason he had a change of heart. From here, we can drive all the way to the end and beat the course. Drybone's Burnout is another very interesting course. When you drive along a bit, you get to this part which is a massive lava lake separating the track into two. I tried to jump over it, but every time I did, I got put back in the part I was already on. I actually had to reset because I'd lost my mushrooms making it here, so I came back with the mushrooms and boosted along the lava. Lakitu picked me up at the other side and put me on the track where I need to be. I drove a bit where I got to another wall where I had to get uppies from Lakitu. From here, it was smooth sailing to the end. In Acorn Heights, we can actually get pretty far, going through this section, then the ravine section, but at the end of this, there's a massive gap we can't make it across, even with Lakitu. You'd think Mario Circuit would be possible because there is no elevation in the terrain, but because it's a section track, we just get put out of bounds no matter where we try to go. On Peach Stadium, we have to do big jumps that we somehow have to get up. For these, we can obviously just use Lakitu, and that's the only obstacle, so we can finish the rest with ease. Faraway Oasis is pretty simple, with us having to go out of bounds here to get put up here, and then needing to do it again here. We can then drive right to the end and finish this course. With Cheep Cheep Falls, I thought it was going to be impossible because of these waterfalls that we would have to scale, but for some reason, we can just simply drive up these and make it to the end. I thought Dandelion Depths would be hard for the same reason, but again, we can just climb up the waterfalls. Boost Cinema is a really cool course because we jump into a cinema screen and drive around a rail and jump back out. But for us, this actually results in us not being able to jump far enough and deeming this course impossible. We start Starview Peak and yeah, this also wasn't happening. Again, Question Mark Block Ruins has another big gap right at the start, so this also isn't possible. Peach Beach was actually very surprising because it's a section-based track, so I thought we weren't going to make it anywhere, but it actually works in a weird way. We get over to this water section and get to this massive wall, which we surely can't get up without the help of Lakitu. We drive all the way through the goal, but we aren't done yet because there's still one section we need to get through because it's a section track. But with that, Peach Beach is possible. Wario's Galleon is another simple one, with the only obstacle being this cannon we have to get up, but we can just use Lakitu then drive to the end. You'd think Sky High Sunday would be an easy one, but it had a good bit of challenge. Immediately there's a jump we have to get up, which would be hard, but luckily we can just drive right under it and get Lakitu. Right after it is a very similar jump, which we can just do the same thing. Then there's this little ledge which we have to jump up. I tried to do it for a good little while, but to no avail, until I jumped way off to the side and Lakitu put me on the right path. I then kept wall jumping and getting picked up by Lakitu to make it through this section, and then it was a simple ride to the finish. Rainbow Road is the last course, and yeah, this wasn't happening. So in a total of 30 different courses, 19 of them are possible while going backwards. I now hope we sleep better at night.